Whether you drive a car,
need a car,
or just occasionally bum a ride with friends,
you've come to the right place.
Join Jill and Tom as they break down everything that's going on in the auto world.
New car reviews,
Shopping tips,
driving green,
electric cars,
classic cars,
and plenty of great guests.
This is the Consumer Guide Car Stuff Podcast.
All right, this is the Car Stuff Podcast, and I am Tom. Thank you for joining us today. When you get a chance, you know the drill. Check us out at consumerguide.com. Lots of cool stuff there. Jill.
Yes.
Jill, you came through.
Okay.
You came through. That's Jill Ciminillo, the voice of Jill Ciminillo, managing editor of Pickup Truckless SUV Talk. She's a prolific freelancer, and she's a North American Car of the Year juror, and she deserves kudos for getting us a Rivian guest.
Yes.
I've been wanting to talk about Rivian. And here's the thing about Rivian.
Yes.
Here's the thing about Rivian. There's companies you kind of want to see work.
Yeah.
Like I wanted Fisker to work.
Yeah.
The head honcho seemed like a nice guy. The product was cool. They seemed like they had a cool mission, and I wanted them to work. And I feel exactly the same way about Rivian.
Yeah.
All right. Also in studio is Brendan Appel, sticking around. Glad to have you, sir.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
All right. So we just have a threesome. Remember, because
that sounds bad.
Or not, but we used to do 3 hosts back when we had Damon Bell on board.
That is correct.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah.
And I'll channel my inner Damon Bell today.
There you go.
We should be clear. We are recording this episode, and it's right on the heels of when we had Brendan as a guest, and so he's graciously agreed to stick around and help us co-host.
That was exactly what happened, but I wanted to make it seem like we were so cool. He just drove here to hang out.
We're not that cool.
You just shattered that illusion.
I mean, maybe I'm that cool, but I don't know that you're that cool.
Based on the last review, I think I'm the coolest.
No, that said thank you, Jill.
It did.
Therefore, I'm the cool one.
But wasn't I called like insanely well informed or something?
No.
You were also called the gentleman, if I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
you didn't even get named.
All right.
You didn't even get named.
Not really very.
I mean, that's a compliment.
That's true. I didn't get named.
So therefore, I'm just saying.
Tom is a hard name to remember.
Also,
it is.
Also that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
I wanted to talk about something that's not fun, but I just wanted to get to it because it's funny.
Okay.
The Department of Transportation has issued a statement saying that they are going to begin pushing for V2X communication. V2X stands for people who don't know, Vehicle to Everything. And it is a form of communication that should allow cars to talk to infrastructure and to talk to other cars. That's the thing. We used to talk about V2V, which is vehicle to vehicle, and V2I, which is vehicle to infrastructure. V2X is everything. And the thing about this, and the thing we know that this isn't going anywhere, is because Waymo and Cruise and Tesla would be further along with self-driving vehicles if this infrastructure existed. But no one could make it happen.
You know, Sons of Speak could get behind this effort if it resulted in you being able to move the person in front of you out of the left lane.
Yes.
Remember that Lexus commercial where he pushed a button and it moved the car over?
Wasn't that an April Fool's joke or something?
It might have been, but everyone in the world was like, please, can we have that?
Can we have that?
Please, please.
Yeah. The thing about this is there's a lot wrong with this. First of all, the bandwidth that the FCC would have allowed this to happen on got used. So I don't know what they're going to do this. And they could use cellular, but that wasn't that expensive and involve infrastructure.
And it always changes.
Yeah.
Like, my 3G stuff in my car doesn't work.
And the thing, for people who don't know what this is a way for cars to communicate with the world around them. And it would be great in accident prevention. And it would be super great in autonomous vehicles. But the manufacturers of autonomous vehicles, none of which exist yet, have gone ahead with this technology, assuming that this was never going to happen.
Yeah.
And Mercedes-Benz launched a version of V2V and an E-Class like 2 generations ago. And then they just never talked about it again because it was only on those cars. It didn't show up on other cars. So it doesn't help. So the way that autonomous vehicles have to be aware of other vehicles is through sensors on the car.
Yeah. Radar, LiDAR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this
sonar,
could be
no, not sonar. Radar, LiDAR, and cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cameras.
This could be a great idea. And it's specifically, I'm thinking of anti-pileups. So if you have people in a fog or smoke ahead that are braking and slowing down and that can tell the cars behind,
that'd be awesome.
Everybody is stopped up here. Don't come in here at 65 miles an hour and cause another accident. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Well, I will say we see that to some extent, not V2V, but when you are using like Waze or Google Maps or Apple Maps, the cars are in essence sending information up to the cloud, which then comes back to your car. And so when vehicles in front of you are slowing down, I've been in cars where it's like brake lights ahead or braking ahead. So
I like that.
And I don't know if it was on a native system, CarPlay, Maps, Waze. It wasn't Waze.
It wasn't Waze because I use Waze.
It could have been Google Maps or Google built-in even, where there's braking ahead. Be advised. So some of that is out there, but it's just not in the way we thought it would be.
Right.
Yeah, and that's also on your cell phone. That's via cellular, and it's not in the car itself.
Well, like I said, with Google built-in, which is in the car itself, with a lowercase b and a lowercase I, because I know you love that grammar. But
you don't know it's a proper noun then. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, the Google is capitalized. So
why?
Because everything Gen Z must be not capitalized.
Well, whatever.
I'm making a motion to just advance the conversation.
Okay, but
Second.
Google built-in navigation in the car, and I'm just saying that is a native system.
Yeah, so this is an interesting technology, and it didn't happen. And part of the problem too is that vehicle to infrastructure, and by infrastructure we're talking intersections, warning signs,
like to the traffic
cities
lights.
and states are not going to pay for this. And it would be an enormous, what's the funny word, turd ton of federal money.
That is a funny
federal money.
Poo-ton?
Yes.
Not to be confused with poutine.
So here you've got the Department of Transportation talking about this. They want to have it in place by a certain day.
Never going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, I can concur with that. Yeah.
And I haven't heard a single manufacturer respond to this.
No.
All right, I've talked about how the QX80 is better.
Yes, you have.
I talked about that last week.
Like 3 weeks I think we talked about it for 3 weeks.
Now you talked about the Genesis GV80.
Yes.
Which was refreshed.
Yes, the GV80 and the GV80 Coupe.
I drove it here.
Okay.
And it's very good.
It is really good.
You know what's weird? I like it slightly less than I liked it before, though.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I do not like now the comfort drive mode. It is willowy. It kind of bobs and weaves.
Willowy.
Yeah, willowy.
Willowy. Okay.
And I don't know what the deal is. You have to use the sport mode, which is about perfect.
Okay.
Other than that, it seems fine, but I was just disappointed with that base mode. The power is great. The power delivery is great. The interior is beautiful. They went to a contiguous screen now instead of two separate ones. A lot here to like. $80,000, $81,000 as I'm driving it for a top trim level of a luxury midsize crossover. And again, Genesis is starting to charge what they think the vehicles are worth. Yeah. But it's still a better deal than going with a Mercedes or BMW.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It comes with more stuff. And the version that you're driving is actually just a 2-row vehicle. So the GV80 comes with 3-row option, but not in the top tier trim.
And that's not much more than they started at, because they started around 70.
Yeah.
When they first launched that vehicle probably 5 years ago now. So that's not, given how awesome those vehicles are, that's not a lot of money.
No, and the elevation, the evolution of this vehicle is exactly what Lexus did. When Lexus launched in the early 90s, or 89, 90, whatever, right around there, the LS400 was obscene.
Yes.
V8 powered, and it was a multi-valve V8 engine.
Yes, it was.
The car was incredibly well put together. It freaked out Mercedes, and it should have, because it changed pricing.
Didn't they start at like $38,000?
Something like that. It was
super.
It was going on like 2/3 the price of the Mercedes.
And then they gave away free pancakes if you just came on Saturday to wash your car for free too.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't remember pancakes.
Yeah, they did. No, that was the big thing. Like the dealer would give you free breakfast on Saturdays, and they had lines out like hundreds of cars long. You got a free car wash, and then they would feed you breakfast.
There is not. I
missed that.
There is not a lot I would not do for a clean car and pancakes.
I swear.
Yeah.
And
would you wait in a 2-hour-long line?
If I could eat pancakes while I was in line.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Like if perhaps someone cute came down the line just dishing out pancakes.
You get a pancake and you get a pancake.
Yes, okay. Like that. Yes.
Okay.
So if you want to launch a car company, do it with pancakes and free car washes.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Good vehicles that are cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not eat pancakes in this car, but it's very, very good.
Okay.
That's the thing. The mid-cycle change, if you already own one, don't rush out to buy a new one. But if you haven't seen it yet.
Here's a question for you two. Is there a Genesis vehicle that isn't awesome? That is not really great?
I don't fit very well in the G70, but that's no one's fault but my own.
And they're not going to make that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going away.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah. So, folks, look at Genesis. They're just really good vehicles.
We were speaking about underrated vehicle brands in the last episode.
Yeah.
This Genesis is another one.
Which is weird because it seems like it's getting a lot of recognition.
Yeah.
But you're right. Every vehicle is good. And we used to talk about brands where every vehicle was good. And you don't have a lot of them, but Mazda was usually one, and Honda was usually one. And people don't realize that Honda actually has a very small lineup. They've never had a lot of models.
No.
And they've never changed models.
But it's a
If you factor out like the
full
Del
line.
Sol and the Fit, all the other vehicles have been here forever.
Honda doesn't have a lot of vehicles, but it's a full line automaker which Ford isn't anymore, and neither is Chevrolet, because they have sedans as well as pickup trucks.
I don't think sedan is required full line. I mean, there's no definition of full line.
A car.
Yeah.
Just a car, Ford.
But full line used to be that you had something for families and something for commercial and something, recreational. Something
The only
like
thing
that.
Honda doesn't have, and you talked about the Ridgeline last 2 weeks ago, I think now, is that they don't have a full-size body-on-frame pickup that could tow 7,000 plus pounds. That's the only thing that company is missing.
And I don't know, after having watched Nissan
That's
versus
necessary.
back trying to sell the Titan for 20 years, why anyone would try to do that.
But look at how successful that Toyota's been with the Tundra.
Until they had to recall them all.
Here's a funny thing
there's
about that.
But yes, you're right.
We can say they were successful with the Tundra. But when the Tundra launched, the current, bigger, full-size
2022
Tundra,
or the 2008?
2008.
Okay.
When they launched that vehicle with, I believe, a Super Bowl ad, they had big plans to have 2 factories going and to sell 400,000 of those bad boys. Within 6 months, they canceled plans for the second plant. And their new plans became, we're going to keep production at a level where it's always under demand, and we're going to sell these things for roughly list. And so now, if you want a Tundra, and there's good reason to want one, they're very good, you're going to pay full list for it, and you're going to have a hard time finding exactly what you want. And Toyota's selling about as many of them as they want, but it's not a huge number of them. It's about 200,000 units.
Decent pivot, though. When you can't sell 2 factories worth, pivot to what they just did.
Yeah, they were able to move very quickly. And the other thing is, if you own a Tundra, you can always just sell it for a bunch of money. Now, there is obviously the engine problem now.
Yeah.
So I don't know
To
how-
their credit, they're replacing all those engines. So
Yeah.
it's going to cost them an absolute fortune, but at least they're standing behind their product.
I have a question about that, because I've heard 2 different numbers for how long it takes to pull and replace an engine. I heard one that was about 8 hours, 8.5 hours. So some dudes all day. That's a lot of money. But I heard another one that was like 25 hours.
That's the number that I've heard, actually.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So,
That's
I mean,
a lot.
if that, at least that's the number that Tim and I have been reporting on pickuptrucktalk.com.
3 days?
Essentially, which means it's more like 3 weeks, because they're not just going to spend 3 days on your vehicle. There's other things that they have to take care of.
I thought the engines were going to cost a lot. That's a lot of labor.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean,
Do we know why?
You know who benefits from this? Dealers.
You know, they ought to just get the guys that used to rent the GT350 H's from Hertz and then take it home and then pop the engine out of that and switch it with their regular Mustang engine and just swap them and then bring it back. I think that only took them 3-4 hours, so maybe they should hire those guys.
I don't know why it takes so long to do an engine now.
I like I said, well, I mean, when you think about it, it's not just the engine they have to deal with. There's software issues. There's
But
things
it's plug
that
and play. It's the engine for that vehicle.
I mean, true, but I mean, it's just not as easy as it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sound like I'm contradicting you, but it must be something.
But I mean, not a gearhead here, so I mean, I couldn't tell you specifically what it is. But yeah, I mean, the number that Tim and I have been talking about is 24.
It's
25.
funny, man. When I worked at a gas station in the 80s, I was involved in a couple of engine swaps, specifically dropping a 403 into a Riviera and a 350 into, I can't remember what, a Chevy 350. But the mechanics that I knew there were such old school gearheads, like 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could do it, and I think they just moved the carb. I don't think they rebuilt or got a new carb.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty easy. But anyway, that's crazy. Jill, you got to drive. We never talk about Mercedes-Benz on this show,
We don't.
but you just drove the GLC Coupe.
Yes, the GLC Coupe.
And for people who don't know what that is, which might be a lot of people,
It's a vehicle that looks like an egg.
there you go. All right.
A lot of those going around these days.
And we're
All right.
done.
New topic.
No, it's an SUV that has the coupe styling. We talked about that with the GV80. So it's.
I am unsold on Mercedes Coupes.
I'm unsold on any coupe.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, because coupe is 2 doors. But it's a 4-door SUV with fastback styling.
Yeah.
And so that means your cargo volume is going to be a little bit stunted because of the rake of the roofline. Rear seat, passenger room has the potential to be a little bit stunted, headroom. But this vehicle, I have to tell you, I really, really liked it.
Now, you drove the GLC 45, AMG
43.
GLC 43.
Yeah.
So AMG is their performance division. When you go to 45, you go into 2 digits, which means performance. It's a weird shorthand thing, but you go from 3 digits to 2 digits to describe the engine.
Yep.
So it's 43, which in no way accurately describes the engine anymore.
No. It's not like a 4.3 liter anything.
Yeah. And then it's a 4MATIC. That's all-wheel drive.
Yeah, so this has the 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder turbo engine. So
Which
maybe
doesn't
that's where
sound
your 4
exciting.
comes from. I don't
Which
know.
doesn't sound exciting.
No.
However,
It's 416 horsepower.
what the heck?
Wow.
I know it is, and I had so much fun. So
Can I just pause here? 200 horsepower per liter.
Yeah.
In a consumer
And
level
more
car.
than 100 per cylinder.
Yeah.
We always thought the 3-cylinder
crazy.
Corolla GR was awesome at 300 horsepower for 3 cylinders. This is more than
this
that.
is
Yeah.
well, and it's just, I mean, I had so much fun playing around with the drive modes and putting it into the Sport Plus drive
You're
mode.
just saying
and
drive modes to annoy me.
drive modes. And that's lowercase d,
I hate
lowercase
drive
m.
modes. They're a placebo.
But no, I just
You say that, but to take an Elantra N out and put it into the N mode on the street
And
tell me that
and you
doesn't
put
make
this
a
into S
difference.
Plus mode, and you like it changes your steering, it changes your suspension, it changes your exhaust note, it literally changes everything about the vehicle, and I had so
For the
much
better?
fun. For the better,
Okay.
Especially like when you're doing on ramps or off ramps, and you're like kind of doing a bit of a corner. So much fun. Now, when I would come into the city, I would put it back into comfort mode because of speed bumps and potholes and all the crappy things in the roads in Chicago.
So how is
but-
the ride quality in Uber over-the-top red mode?
I mean, as long as you are on nice surfaces, it's really good.
I did want to mention something totally off topic, but it's in my notes and I didn't want to forget. I love the grille of the AMG versions of the crossovers.
Yeah.
They're just kind of a big, egg crate kind of grille, very aggressive. The headlights you don't see from every angle, and I don't know, it's a good look, very sporty.
Yeah.
What's annoying about Mercedes, though, if you don't buy the AMG version of a car, they have an AMG appearance package, which is almost required because it looks so much better. But
Yeah.
then they charge you like $8,000 for it. So it can get annoying because you're like, why doesn't the car just look like this from the get-go? But I'm thinking of the GLE specifically, man.
I
It looks so much better with that package.
I don't know how many Mercedes products get sold without at least the AMG wheels,
Right.
which might be part of just the
It's part of that package, yeah.
because they do look better. They feel the wheel wells better, and it's kind of cool. It's so funny because AMGs used to be rare, right? When I was a
Very.
kid, I'm in the 80s. I'm going to drive AMG versions were like, oh my God, Jesus just walked by,
Right.
It was like whoa. And now I think more than half of everything Mercedes sells is in some way AMG.
It's like M and BMW.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been AMG'd.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm using it as a verb
So
because I know Tom likes it.
is this a practical vehicle despite the slope? And what does this bad boy cost?
I think it is practical if you don't have young kids and you don't need to carry a lot of stuff in the back. It's a lot of fun to drive. It's a great commuter car. But I am going to say the pricing is certainly a little bit steep. The base price for the GLC 43 Coupe is $70,000.
Yeah.
And the test car added $9,000 in options, including, the AMG Dynamic Plus package and, just AMG Trek pace and things like that. So even though it was an AMG, it still added AMG things. And the as-tested price was $79,985.
Wow. So Mercedes-Benz, historically, legendarily, known for ride quality and interior assembly quality, if not interior materials, but still there?
Yes, I would say it's still there. The version I'm in has red seatbelts. I love the red stitching accents.
I bet those were extra cost.
Probably.
Yeah.
The only thing that I didn't like, and this is, it just made my skin crawl. The steering wheel has the ultra suede on it, and I hate ultra suede on a steering wheel. There's like a little bit of leather on the top and on the bottom, and so I'm literally driving at 12.6.
Now, why do you hate that?
Yeah.
It like makes my skin crawl. Like I touch it and it's like nails on a chalkball.
Like the filling in a donut.
Ugh.
So yeah,
It's very
they're
tactily unpleasing to me.
they're trying to give that nice feel, that soft feel, And that's funny that
Literally skin
I just did a
polish.
video, by the way.
I was just going to say, we have to talk about your video. Go ahead, tell us about it.
So I have the microfiber suede Alcantara, whatever you want to call it, on the shifter and on my wheel on the Corvette C7. And, you know, especially on the shifter, a lot of hand oils are transferring over, right? And so after a while,
it'll matte down.
And it turns into a shiny nothing,
like
which you probably would like.
dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically like a shiny surface. And so there's no softness to it. There's no pile to it anymore. And I've tried a bunch of stuff to try and clean that. And it just hit me one day that what I'm fighting is oil in the shifter. And so I tried a little technique that I just came up with trying this stuff out. I put a little bit of Blue Dawn dish soap on a wet rag, and I rubbed that in there very gently, and I just kind of worked at it, and then I cleaned it off. And lo and behold, it's like brand new again.
Wow.
So yeah,
That is amazing.
I have spent money on products. I think Sonax is called one of them. That there was a super long process. It's an expensive product, and Dawn dish soap is like 10 times better.
Wow. And you will be doing this to the steering wheel in your AMG.
No, she
No,
won't.
I will not be
she'll
doing
do
this.
the
I'm gonna,
opposite.
I'm
She'll
gonna
grease
go-
her hands up.
I know. I'm going to go get some olive oil and put it all over my hands and go. No, I'm not going to do that, Mercedes. If you're listening, I'm not doing that.
We're out of time here, but real quick, who is the buyer for this car?
Oh, I think it's going to be either somebody who's an empty nester or, and this is, I'm not quoting Mercedes here, or somebody who is like dual income, no kids, or their kids are older.
Yeah, young professionals is what it seemed would be a really good one.
For $80,000 though?
Yeah, you know, when you're young and you are dual income, no kids, those prices don't seem so high.
That's fair.
So just to be clear, that is the AMG GLC 43 4MATIC.
Yes.
A lot of name.
Can we add more name in there?
No. We probably could, like if there was a performance. at the end of that. Or Ultra.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk Rivian.
Questions or comments?
Drop us a line at carstuff@consumerguide.com.
That's carstuff@consumerguide.com. Welcome back to the Car Stuff Podcast.
All right, we're back. This is the Consumer Guide Car Stuff Podcast. I'm Tom. She's Jill. And as a special bonus this week, with us is Brendan Appel of the Sons of Speed. Brendan, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
I'm all right. Jill, you're reasonably good?
I'm reasonably good.
All right, help me out real quick.
You are on X Twitter, right?
That's about all we need. I am
Okay.
Car Guy Dom on Twitter. Car Guy Tom.
Tom, yeah.
Tom,
Pronounce
not
that
Dom.
T, not Dom.
I could change it to Dom.
Okay.
I knew a guy named Dom.
Our Subaru guy is called Dom.
Also.
He might be
Yeah.
taking offense if you go to Car Guy Dom.
Yeah, there we
Okay.
go.
I will say that Tom is our favorite guy on Twitter.
Oh,
Sons of
thanks.
Speed.
There you go.
Wait, me, Tom.
You, Tom.
All right, just wanted to be clear.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much credit.
That guy.
Joe, we've been wanting to talk Rivian on the show for a long time.
We have.
And as I mentioned earlier, Rivian is one of those companies, one of those startups that you just want to see work.
Yes.
The product looks great.
Mm-hmm.
There's real engineering there,
Mm-hmm.
and you just want it to happen.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of cool features and lots of just interesting things going on.
But we finally get to talk some Rivian. Our guest today is Mikhael Farah. He is the Director of Automotive Product Communications for Rivian. Mikhael, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you all for having me. How y'all doing?
We're great. Thank you very much. Real quick, Rivian, first of all, you guys had a little excitement over the weekend. Is everyone okay?
Everyone's fine. Everything's been contained. The plant is not, but we're excited to just move forward. And obviously, an isolated incident, but everyone's fine. The most important thing is safety, and that's what we got for everyone there.
So, real quick, tell us what happened in case people don't know.
I'm not running comps for that one specifically. My colleague was, so I've been a little out of the details on that. But a small fire kind of cascaded a little bit more, and we've been able to obviously isolate that. The plant was not impacted at all. And as more details come to light, I know the team will be able to roll that out.
Cool. Now, we want to talk about the redesigned one truck and crossover. But real quick, you guys just entered into a fascinating and fabulous deal with Volkswagen. If you could tell us what that's about and what it means for Rivian's future.
No, super excited. I mean, the announcement of the formation of a joint venture with Volkswagen announced a few weeks ago, a couple months ago now. Time is flying by this year, y'all. And we're just so excited for them to use our zonal architecture and software stack. And as RJ, our CEO and founder, said before, right, from day one, this was the goal of the integration of doing everything in-house from from our motors on the new second generation R1T and R1S to now the zonal architecture, the software stack, everything. So the excitement with the Volkswagen deal, and as those joint venture details come to life, obviously more to come later this year and early next, but they will be using our really software and zonal architecture platform for the development of multiple vehicles going forward.
You know, one of the interesting things that's different, that separates, say, Fisker from Rivian, is that Fisker was doing what they called manufacturing light or capital light, and that they basically outsourced everything, including manufacturing. And what they didn't have at the end, it seems, is anything that was proprietary or of value. And you guys have done your own architecture. You guys do your own batteries too, correct? They're at least your design.
That's correct, yeah. And even with the second generation R1, we've kind of redesigned that entire battery pack. It's a supplied cell, Ningle making the NMC cell, but we've redesigned the battery pack to be more serviceable, more and cost-effective to build, more robust, and more energy dense. So, I mean, really bringing the ownership in-house, the development in-house, the manufacturing, everything from soup to nuts. We're really proud of doing everything in-house and just getting better over time.
And if you care, and you probably don't, my wife thinks that the R1S and R1T gorgeous. So I just wanted you to know that.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I think they're pretty good-looking vehicles myself. I've got a T in my driveway right now, and every time I step out into that car, everyone kind of it turns heads here in Michigan. So we're excited to get that on the road even more.
Now, we're going to talk about the R1T and R1S in a second, but you guys have just shared, you've teased the R2 and R3. And there couldn't be more excitement about these vehicles, especially right here in this studio. The R3 is about the coolest looking thing I've seen in like 30 years. Tell us about those cars and when we might see those.
As a student of the industry and a just as passionate as you all about the auto industry, I think the surprise and delight there during the midsize reveal of R2, which was really the star of the show, but I think what stole the show was the R3 and R3X, those surprise reveals. And I think we took the internet by storm on that. So really awesome vehicles, and those are enabled by our new midsize platform that'll underpin the upcoming 2026 R2. And then with that being a flexible platform, shortening the wheelbase gives us the ability to create vehicles like the R3 and eventually the R3X. So from awesome design, fun, somewhat nostalgic styling that has really hit a really good nerve with all, I guess, enthusiasts and really car people nationwide.
It's funny you say that the styling is nostalgic because I call this make the AMC Gremlin great again. The R3 is just so fantastic.
Okay, so you think it looks like a Gremlin?
Yeah.
Because what I think it looks like is the Lada Niva, if you're familiar.
I am not.
Lada, Russian company, sells this crazy little two-door SUV that they've been selling forever. It's a very fundamentally simple vehicle, but outside the U.S., it's kind of like a Wrangler. Like people do crazy things to it and drive it crazy places. It is supremely capable and looks great with big wheels. This looks like a version of that, and I think that in European markets, that's going to be.
This is going to sell like hotcakes. This thing is so cool. I haven't seen an electric vehicle come close to the sort of like panache that this thing I think brings. So kudos to you guys. Whoever designed this, bump them up a little bit in the company or something. I don't know. They did a great job.
So our chief designer Jeff Hamoud and his entire team were just super excited about that vehicle, and obviously the R3X, which a design intent for what the future could look like for Rivian with but at 80s Group B rally. I think a lot of the members of the Rivian team across the entire product development, design, engineering, software. I mean, everyone is really a car nerd, and that's yes, we're a tech company, yes, we're an EV focused company, an EV only company, but really to break it down, everyone's our people inside, and they love to see these types of products come to market.
And I don't mean to take anything away from the R2 either, because that's a fantastic design as well. So
it looks great.
I just think the R3 is so unique and just really cool.
For sure.
So as we start to transition the conversation from R2, R3 over to R1, I wanted to, one of the things...
I have to break for a moment because the look you gave me was great.
Yeah, because
you're like, Tom, we got to move on.
We do.
All right.
But I mean, this can kind of cover all of the things. Because something I think that Rivian is really good at is creating innovative features in their vehicles, like the gear tunnel and the R1T. So I was just wondering if you could talk about like some of your favorite features, like cool, like innovative, unique features that are Rivian only.
And has anyone gotten stuck in the gear tunnel?
I have not gotten stuck in the gear tunnel, but I have climbed into it. So we'll just... Sorry.
Well, I'm glad you tested it out. No, yes. I think it's right to that point, Joe. I mean, the innovation and just bringing constantly new features and a lot of, OEMs as a whole, or legacy OEMs, always talk about OTAs and over-the-air updates, and vehicles will get better over time. Sounds good in theory, but we, I think, at Rivian do it so well. And every month there's a new update. Like just a few weeks ago, we released our .27 update, which brought Connect Plus and Apple Music with spatial audio with Dolby Atmos to the vehicle. So truly, it's getting better over time. Not just features that we one and done. Is if you bought a vehicle a week ago, a month ago, or a year ago, you'll continue to get those features into your vehicle. So you're never left behind. And one of the biggest exciting things I think that, like you mentioned with the gear tunnel and all that, is we've actually in .27 update activated our adaptive drive beam, matrix LED headlights. So that technology is very new to the North American market. We've activated that in the most recent OTA update, but just constantly innovating. And if you look at the second generation R1T and R1S on the outside, they look 99% the same. We've changed the front light bar, the rear light bar, and added some features inside, some new trims, some new motors. The biggest thing is really under the hood, is what I talked about earlier with that zonal architecture system. We removed over 1.6 miles of wiring and over about 40 pounds of weight from the vehicle. So Not only is the vehicle super fast, got an updated network architecture, we moved from 17 ECUs or electronic control units down to 7. So, and not only is it just 7, but there's, it's 10 times more powerful than the previous system, new cameras all around. So if you look at the vehicles one-to-one from 2024 to 25, they look very similar, but really everything under the hood, completely new vehicles and new platforms. So constant innovation and development, both from a software and hardware perspective.
So if I go to the website right now, I'm seeing 2025s. Are those on sale now?
Yeah, those went on sale June 6th of this year. We began deliveries with the R1S 3-row SUV, and the R1T will be showing up here. Actually, I think some of them might have hit our shop earlier today, so we're beginning delivery of those as well.
Michael, can you walk us through the lineup here? You've got it looks like you've got 4 models of the R1S going into 2025.
Yeah, so we've got a kind of our product lineup is broken down by motor. So we've got the dual motor, your entry-level motor in a sense, the performance dual motor, which takes power up to 665 horsepower, 800 plus pound-feet of torque, which is definitely not enough power, right? and then you've got the tri-motor, which bumps that up even more, 850 horsepower. And then we've got our flagship quad motor that has a class-leading 1,025 horsepower, nearly 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. Does the 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds and the quarter mile in 10.5 seconds at 130 miles an hour. We're talking McLaren F1 speed from many years ago. I mean, it's bonkers to see what we're able to do, and the team is just super excited to have developed this vehicle. So from a dual motor performance, tri and quad, we've got something for everyone, a great flavor, whether you want power and less range, and you want more power and capability, or you're more efficiency focused and want longer range, better for road trips. We've got something in the middle for you there as well.
So a McLaren can do that weighing about 3,000 pounds. How much does this thing weigh?
Weight in EVs, obviously it's a topic. So just about that 7,000 marker, just around there.
Which just makes that performance so much more impressive.
It does.
Yep. And even better, just as fast as it goes, it does stop as well. It's got those great brakes on the truck that take it very fast down the track. And having done this on a drag strip, my jaw was just, what? Like, how did we just do this? It was so much fun.
Well, we would love to test that here at Sons of Speed, which is our outlet.
We'll get you guys a car here as soon as I'm working on building out my fleet, so we'll get you guys a car as soon as we can.
Bring it to Chicago ASAP.
I would love that. Speaking of Chicago, I am now seeing more Rivians on the road than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened in Chicago, but obviously demand is up. But sales are up for you guys too.
For sure, yeah. We're just continuing to meet our production targets as well as our sales targets, and now with the second generation R1T and R1S, like I said, we're doing a much bigger push. Customers are excited about the vehicle. The R1S, obviously, in a very SUV dominant market that we are here in North America, is doing just incredibly. And the R1T, no slouch as a truck, 11,000 pounds of towing.
Wow.
Able to go 420 miles on a single charge. So it's a really good all-around truck. And like I said, the one in my driveway, I just smile every time I get into it.
How is selling vehicles remotely working for you guys? It was sort of an issue for Tesla, but obviously they sold through it. But you guys don't have dealerships per se, or don't have dealers yet. And if you do have dealerships, those will be factory owned. Are consumers responding well to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously between a regulatory framework of the U.S. We are a direct-to-consumer sales company. We've got our spaces. You mentioned the sales up in Chicago. There's, I believe, it's in downtown Chicago. I've been to Chicago in a few years, but our Rivian space or showroom where people can come in, experience the vehicles, book a test drive, take really kick tires as they say, right? Check the vehicle out, and then they can schedule a test drive from one of our service centers. And then as we capture their interest in the vehicle, someone from our outbound sales will call them and walk them through the available features, pricing, content, everything that they want. And really, it's almost as easy as going to Rivian.com/R1S or R1T, clicking build, specking out your favorite variant. And then someone from sales will call you and we'll get you into that vehicle within 1 to 6 weeks, depending on the build configuration.
So funny story about your Chicago store. It's literally 1 block from my mother-in-law, and we were walking around downtown going to, because the Tesla Cybertruck was on display. And so we were walking to the Tesla store to look at the Cybertruck, and the new Rivian storefront is like a block from the Tesla storefront in the Gold Coast. And my mother-in-law were chuckling. We were chuckling about that. And I have to tell you, the Rivian storefront looks so much cooler. Like, it looks like a place that I want to go into because it's just like decorated really well. And whereas like the Tesla store is like cold and sterile, and like the Rivian store just looks like fun and adventurous, and it's a place I want to go to.
It's a fun spot right there on 871 North Rush Street. I mean, it's a cool spot. It's immersed among the city, and like I said, it's welcoming. It's great. We've got, you want to bring kids around, or I took my little godson there a few weeks ago to the one out in California, and he was just coloring, enjoying the time in the Rivian space, asking me what this is. I'm like, this is where Michael works now. So we're going to show you guys some cool features. If
people go to that store, can they buy a vehicle there?
Cannot buy a vehicle there, no. Okay. Someone from our outbound sales team will call them and walk them through the sales process.
Gotcha. And Michael, are there any versions of the R1T or R1S that still qualify for the tax credit, the federal tax credit?
Yeah, I think under 80,000. So I think a dual motor with the large pack will qualify technically. We've got variants of the dual motor that start with an LFP pack. For obvious reasons, the LFP doesn't qualify. But I think there's 1 or 2 variants that we've got in this lineup that qualify. So
we're pretty close, though. So you can't get the floor mats because that'll throw you over.
Yeah, you're right there, right. But hey, we've got an awesome Chili Witch, very sustainable floor mats that are good for off-road, on-road, and those blistering Chicago winters you all got.
Michael, we're running out of time, but real quick, can you give us a timing for the new R1S and R1T? Those are on sale right now. When will we see the R2 and R3?
R2, we've talked about deliveries in early 2026, and the R3 after that. No real timing that we've given on that, but after R2, we're squarely focused on getting the second generation R1T and R1S out to market, and then from there, the R2. Super excited about that midsize, one of the most competitive segments in the North American market, and then after that, once we get R2 up and running, we'll turn our head to R3. So more to come there, and stay tuned. Okay, and if someone wants to buy a Rivian, the easiest way to do that is to Rivian.com/R1S or R1T, or just Rivian.com. Right on the front page, you'll be able to build your favorite configuration, and our sales team will call you. Sounds cool. Michael, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you all for having me. All right, that was Mikhael Farah with Rivian. We're going to take a break, and when we come back,
Quiz time.
Questions or comments?
Drop us a line at carstuff@consumerguide.com.
That's carstuff@consumerguide.com. Welcome back to the Car Stuff Podcast.
All right, we're back. This is the Consumer Guide Car Stuff Podcast. I'm Tom, she's Jill, and he's Brandon. Sticking around today. We appreciate it. Jill, you're social media-ish.
I am social media-ish.
You're social media light.
You're like
I'm
Italian.
social media
You're
heavy.
Italian, half social media.
Yeah, something like that. So you can find me in all the things, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Threads, all the things at Jill Ciminillo. Car du jour is my hashtag.
Things feels like another social media outlet.
Actually, I feel like all the things should be a social media outlet.
You should
all
do
the
that.
things.
And instead of tweeting, you thinger.
I'm a thinger. It's
thingered.
better than Xing.
All right.
I'm
Brendan,
just
how
better.
can we keep track of your many the activities?
We are on a lot of the same, I think we're not on Threads, but we're pretty much on everything else. You can find us, the easiest way is to go to sonsofspeed.com. I'd really appreciate it if you went to TikTok and search for Real Sons of Speed, and they'll check out a bunch of cool videos we just put out there. And if you don't mind following, that would be awesome too.
There you go. All right, it's quiz time.
Wait. Before we get into quiz.
What? Oh, you had
I have a thing.
A point of clarification.
And it's not even necessarily a point of clarification. It's an observation.
Uh-huh.
Last week we were talking about the Kia EV9 and we were trying to figure out what was competing with it. And I mentioned the Volvo EX90, which is coming. But the thing that we just talked about, the R1S.
Yep. That's a good point. The R1S is more expensive.
It is.
And it's higher performance, but they do overlap slightly in price.
Yeah. I feel like the top end of the Kia EV9 will hit the low end of the R1S.
So there you go. Good point.
Yeah.
But I agreed to talk about this with you during the commercial break, and then I completely blew it off.
Yeah, because that's what you do.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that we do, it's quiz time.
Yes. Now we can talk about the quiz.
Last week, you guys passed on Porsche. What does it cost, Porsche edition?
Yes.
That is today's quiz.
I don't know that I will do much better this week than I did last week.
I'm not feeling very confident. Just because Porsche keeps raising their prices to places that
I just
are
found
astronomical.
I wrote an article many years ago about what I would do if I won the Little Lotto.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what I would spend $100,000 on. Mm-hmm. And back when I wrote this, you could get an Acura ZDX and a Porsche 911, a base Porsche 911, no options, anything, just a base car. You can get them both for $100,000.
And the Acura ZDX being another egg-shaped thing.
It was then.
Yeah.
And the ZDX came out right around the time that the BMW X6 came out. Mm-hmm. They were both controversial, and most people decided that the ZDX was ugly, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But enough of that. But the point was, you used to be able to get two vehicles for $100,000, including the 911. Now the 911 starts just over $120,000. And a funny thing about the 911, someone at Porsche once said, we sell the Cayenne so we can continue to build the 911.
Yes.
But 911 volume is very low.
Yeah.
Well, when you start your car at $120,000.
Yeah.
Has the Little Lotto price gone up?
$250.
I don't know.
I think it's $250.
See, so you could still afford it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think they've bumped it up to $250 now.
I will rewrite that article.
Yeah, see, there you go.
All right, kids, it's quiz time. Brendan is our guest. He will start. The question is, what are these options priced at on the 911?
How many thousands of pages of options can you get on a 911?
About 2 trillion.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be the better question.
There used to be all sorts of great things you do, like a leather face dash.
Do you remember when Apple CarPlay used to be an option on BMW vehicles?
Yeah.
I'm like, just completely random aside. Sorry.
Yeah, they charged,
Tangent, squirrel. Sorry, back to Porsche.
All right, Brendan, what does it cost to custom paint your Porsche 911? This would be you bring them a paint chip and they paint it that color. Is it $8,900, $1,400 and $190, or $32,500?
You know who knows the answer to this question? Because I think she's done it to a 718, is our good friend Jennifer Jensen.
Oh.
So we are part of We Are Motor Driven. She is part of Auto Exotica, which is also part of We Are Motor Driven. And she did this, paint to sample, I think is what they call it. And I wish I was paying attention when she probably told me how much that cost. Because it's Porsche and not Ferrari would be 32,000. I'm going to go with the middle one, 14 something.
14,190? Jill, 8,900, 14,190, or 32,500?
I'm gonna go high end. I'm gonna say 8,900.
That's low end.
8,900, 14,190.
14. I thought it was 8,900, 1,400. So yeah,
No.
Say those again.
No.
I need more coffee.
$8,900.
Okay.
$14,190 or $32,500.
Okay, I don't think it's 32,000. I don't. You know what? Then I'm gonna go low end. I don't think it's $14,000. I think I'd say 8,900.
It's 14,190.
Oh,
yeah, Brendan's on the board.
Score one for me.
Jill,
I have no points.
You have no
I know.
points.
Blah blah blah.
2 weeks
All
in a
right.
row.
I know.
Sorry, Jill.
Jill, what does the leather interior in Bordeaux red with chalk stitching cost? That's leather interior in Bordeaux red with chalk stitching, chalk being a color.
Okay.
$3,000, $4,530, or $9,125.
Same again.
$3,000, $4,530, $9,125.
I'm gonna say 45.
And I'm going to say 91 whatever.
45.
Oh, nicely done.
Jill is on the board. This is anyone's game.
Oh, that's actually a bargain, Porsche. What are you doing?
I know, right?
All right. On the 911, the base 911, front ventilated seats, $840, $1,140, $2,300.
$1,140. This should be almost free.
Yeah, so this is my problem with Porsche, and this is probably why I don't get invited to Porsche events anymore, is because I went on a whole diatribe at dinner with them once about how everything is an option.
Yeah.
And they were like, but people like to customize their cars. And I was just like...
But yeah,
But you're spending $120,000 car on the car. Like, there should just be some things that are included.
There are things, though. There are German mentalities about building cars that for some reason Germans never want to pass up on or grow past. When they brought out the Maybach, the first Maybach, when it was a separate brand and not a trim level as it is now at Mercedes, they were sure that Americans wanted to go to a Maybach salon, a Maybach studio, and sit down for a day with a consultant, build their car, and then wait 90 days until it showed up. Americans don't do that.
No.
We very much buy off the lot.
But I'm very much with Jill on this. There are certain things at $120,000 that should not
like
be
heated
options.
seats.
Yeah.
And I feel like heated seats are probably an option. Okay, so ventilated seats. I'm gonna. Did you say $890?
$840.
$840. I'm gonna go with that one.
You're right.
Wow.
You have the lead.
Another bargain over Porsche.
That seems like a bargain, but it's really expensive relative to doing it on, I don't know, a Jetta.
Yeah. By the way, a level 2 Corvette will get you that for free.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good one. It's your turn now, right?
Yes.
All right, Jill, the PDK gear selector in aluminum. Is it $540, $640, or $740? And I forgot what PDK stands for. It's a great...
It's
pretty
a German
darn quick
word.
with a K.
It's a 40-syllable word.
Yes.
But it's basically double
I think
clutch.
there's a doppelganger in there or something like that.
It's doppel something
Yeah.
Clutchenheimer.
Right. It's like the Mag Ride full name is not Mag Ride.
Right.
Magneoretical or some. I can't even pronounce the whole word.
Magna-retical.
Yes.
I think is the word, yeah.
Tongue twister.
That's an old General Motors patent, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And they licensed it to Ferrari for many, many years.
I think just to take this fully off-road.
All right. I'm trying to get back to the question. You
can
guys
have
are
another piece of
digressing.
donut.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
think-
I'm
I
gonna eat
think-
my donut.
I think Lotus developed that technology for General Motors while General Motors owned Lotus.
Yeah, that would not surprise me.
Yeah. Okay, Jill, I'm sorry.
Suspension queen.
Yeah, my
kings
mouth
over
is
there.
full right now.
Okay.
I'm eating a blueberry donut.
Where were we? Oh, the PDK gear selector. So the gear shifter in aluminum. 540, 640, 740.
740.
540.
740. Jill.
Jill, I think you just won. Or can I catch up still?
No, she won.
Nicely done.
All right.
She gets her revenge from last week.
This question goes to you, sir.
Yes.
The Burmester.
The
High-end-
stereo.
Yes, with the beautiful perforated.
Let me just guess. It's $5,490. Is that one of your choices? He just added it.
No, I'm writing it down.
Okay.
I'm writing it down for a reason.
Okay.
Is it 3,800, 4,820, or 5,560?
Let's go with that one.
You're gonna go with the 5,500?
Sure.
Jill,
That's right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that one as well.
he missed it by $20.
That's funny.
Guessing.
Yes.
Just totally, yeah. I
Yeah.
cannot see your page. I just,
That stereo is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
And Mercedes was the first to start doing the perforated
Yeah.
steel or aluminum grills. They're beautiful.
right.
They look like a steel guitar. They're fantastic.
The only time that sucks, though, I forget what car we were driving at the summer drive event that Mama did once, is that they put wherever it was in this particular car, it was one of those steel grills, was exactly where your leg would hit it with shorts on.
Oh,
So if that thing got super duper hot in the sun or just a hot interior car, you were going to just burn a pattern into your leg. Maybe don't put it there.
No. So, fun fact: we were talking about the GLC at the beginning of the episode. It also has a Burmester sound system.
And how
Do you-
much does that cost?
Any guess?
I think Mercedes charges more for that.
That would be surprising. I'm gonna go a little less.
I'm gonna say it's $6,000.
I would say 4,800.
You guys are both way off. It's $1,900.
Wow.
I know, $1,950. That's why I was just like, I was like, I'm gonna look and see what that costs on the Mercedes, and I was
Yeah.
like, holy shnikey!
That seems reasonable.
It does.
It
doesn't
seems normal.
Yeah, normal. I guess normal.
So when you're operating in like Porsche land, and Ferrari does this too, like prices just seem like they're arbitrary.
Yeah.
They have no relation to reality.
Yeah.
This is interesting though. Speaking of $1,800, you can get a Bose system in your 911 for $1,600.
Okay, so
But that makes me mad because if there's some $1,600 grant, like why isn't that standard?
what's the standard one then?
Yeah.
Is it some guy
Is it
like pull out a
crummy?
JBL system from like an '87 like Volkswagen Rabbit that they stuffed in there, and that's what you get?
I have a joke for people my age. It's a Kraco system from
Oh
Kmart.
gosh, you remember that? Does
I'm
it have
like,
does it have a pull-out
okay,
deck for
all
the
I have
radio?
to say is all three of you are laughing, and I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about?
Used to be when you went to a department store, but Kmart in particular, but you could do this at Montgomery Ward's in those days.
Sears,
Sears. You would go to a rack of the car stereos they sold, and every car stereo fit the slot because it was standardized in those times.
Yep.
So you could easily buy a car stereo for $49
Oh, yeah.
with cassette and just slot it into where your car stereo was. But you had a wall of them, and there'd be like 12, 16 of them, like lined up, and you'd press a red button and you'd go to that unit, and then you press another button and get different speakers. It was awesome.
It was the most awesome display case ever. And then if you were lucky, in the early days, you got the pullouts that had the little handle
Yeah.
that you could take it with you because you wanted to take your radio with you so no one would
I'm
steal
like,
it.
blah, 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 whatever. I'm drawing you back on track because we have 4 minutes left.
4 minutes.
All right. Or then you got the face plates after the pullouts,
Yeah.
which are a lot more easy to carry around.
Yeah, I had a Tancredi stereo.
Okay,
with
so that
Cricket
clearly
speakers.
didn't work.
We could talk about 80s
You said
stuff
4
all day
minutes.
long.
It seems like I got lots of time. All right, the bonus question, which we do.
Wait, did we get through all the questions?
We did.
Yes, and I think I got two,
1, 2.
two maybe.
Yeah.
And you got
You got 3.
three.
I'm like, what did I miss?
Did we miss one? I don't
I feel
think
like
so.
we missed one.
No.
The Burmester sound?
I got the first
Yeah,
one and the last
Burmester
one.
was the
for
last
sure.
one.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Might have
No,
missed
we
a bit
definitely
again in
did.
between.
I clearly can't count today.
All right.
All right, bonus time.
Bonus question from that'snifty.com. Fanta flavors in Argentina.
Oh,
Okay.
Jill, which of the following is not an Argentinian Fanta flavor? Are you ready?
Okay.
Grape,
Mm-hmm.
passion fruit, sweet lemon, sugarcane.
Sweet on sweet sounds hideous. And if grape's not a flavor, that would just be very sad.
Do grapes grow in South America? I don't know.
well, they make wine in Argentina.
They do.
Okay, then they must.
They must. Okay, so you said grape.
Well, Argentina is not crazy hot, right? Is it? Anyway, yes, grape, passion fruit, sweet lemon, sugarcane.
I feel like if you were talking about Brazil, you would have sugarcane. I do not know that you would. And
As
sweet
the dove
lemon.
flies, not very far apart.
But passion fruit, I'm going to say yes. Grape, I'm going to say yes. It's either the sweet lemon or the sugarcane.
Were you rushing me?
I was. I know, 2 minutes. Sugarcane.
Sugarcane's the fake?
Yep.
All right.
Well, because sugarcane, I can't imagine what that tastes like. Like what is?
Sweet on sweet.
Yeah, I would say sugarcane.
Ugh.
It is the fake. However, Japanese beverages come in sugarcane.
Ugh.
Really?
Yeah. Also lychee, which feels like just sugarcane.
Oh, yeah, no
Because lychee
lychee.
has such
Yeah.
a mellow flavor. All right, guys. Anything going on?
No, I have a tech review of the GLC that will be posted on YouTube, so I'll make sure you have the link for the show notes.
All right.
Oh, and next week, we can talk about the Volvo EX90.
You're not here next week.
Okay, so the week after that,
All right.
we
Yeah.
can talk about the Volvo
Our
EX90.
guest next week is Steve Cochran, Chicago radio host and stand-up comic Steve Cochran. We're going to be talking about cars from our youth. Steve is roughly my age, so this is going to be just a great conversation between old guys.
Yeah.
I just really want to sell that. And my buddy Dave is going to sit in.
Otherwise, you may have unsold that.
Yeah. My buddy Dave is hilarious. He's going to
Okay.
be here too.
Okay.
So he's sitting in. What do you guys got going on?
Go to YouTube, search "We Are Motor Driven," and we have some great videos there, including a comparison between the Corolla GR and the Bronco Raptor, which nobody else, I can guarantee you, has done that comparison. Yeah, so definitely go check that out. Lots of great
All
videos
right.
there.
Thanks to Mikhael Farah of Rivian for joining us today. Jill, you got us a Rivian guest.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Jill. Thanks to producer Randy and the good folks here at TalkZone. Let's talk more about cars again
Next week.
next week.
remember to check us out at consumerguide.com.
The Car Stuff Podcast is produced by J-Turn Media.
To advertise on the show, please drop us a line at carstuff@consumerguide.com.